Hi, this is Nathaniel Moore, and welcome to the Self Concept Research Group podcast. This is the place where some really extraordinary practitioners and self concept coaches talk shop and around the details of what it takes for personal transformation. Today, I've got quite the lineup, I got to tell you. We were Ismail brought in a demo or a client project that he was working on, and in our panel today we've got Brent, Rasmus, Henning, Pierre, Chad, and the one and only Anna. And so, if we could start off, Ismail, if you could share the demo, let's just jump right in and if you could walk us through it, and we'll take it from there.
Of course, awesome. So the piece of work that we're about to watch is a Swish pattern that I did with Matt. Matt, for some context, Matt is a truck driver, and we have done a few sessions on different topics. And at this point, we were working with his health, especially health eating. He had a craving for certain types of food that are wrapped in bread, like tacos and McDonald's, and that trigger was triggered by seeing externally the signal of tacos or McDonald's while he was driving his truck. And of course, that was like pretty challenging because he drives long distances and he can, frequently see those signs. So in the demo we investigated a little bit if there was an emotional pattern for eating, and it happened that it was more about the he was mostly craving for the taste of the food, right? So it's because he liked it, and there was a craving and a lack of choice there. So this is the context, and let's dive right in. Good. Can you see my screen?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna play, and if the audio is not good, please let me know.
Can you remember? Can you remember one moment when you craved tacos?
Yeah.
Okay. Um. So you see one. Like, do you see one externally? Tell me how that happens. Like you were in your truck, or you were,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in my truck and I'll see a sign or something um, and it just makes me start thinking about it. So
Okay. So let's say you see the sign, right? Then what do you do in your mind right after you see the sign?
then I just start thinking about, like, oh, tacos sound good.
Tacos sound good. Okay. Is there a sound to it? Like when you think about it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So if I were to be in your place, like in your situation, right, in the exact moment, and you could be free from the cravings, right, and you could take vacation of it, and I would have the cravings in your place. Now, so I'll fill in for you. Now I need you to instruct me. How do I do that? Let's say I see a taco. Now, what do I need to do in my mind in order to crave?
Um, I guess just start visualizing, what the tacos look like, what they taste like. Um,
Okay. Okay. And when you visualize it, where is the picture located in your personal space?
like, kind of like right in front of me.
Right in front. Okay. Are they real life size, bigger than life, smaller
No,
than
they're
life?
like real life size.
Okay. Um. Okay. You said that you imagine how they taste. Like, do you actually imagine biting it somehow, or or how do you get the taste?
Yeah, just like, taking a bite and chewing and swallowing.
So
That was the first little chunk, which is a very important part. Like it's elicitation, right? It's elicitation. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like how you source the information by having him pretend he was teaching it to you. That's always really good for getting people to
Yeah.
tell you exactly what they're doing in their mind. And he was actually future pacing already eating the food, which is pretty
Mm-hmm.
powerful motivator.
Yeah.
yeah.
Good frame too to ask, how do you do that? So there's a presupposition. He's doing it. How do you do that? What's the recipe? So you can create it in your own mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed how you brought him to where he normally does. Like he's like, oh, I'm usually driving, and I see a sign, and I think that bringing back the context helped him access it.
Mm-hmm. In your example there, Ishmael, was that the trigger? You're identifying the trigger with seeing the sign. Was that it for him, the cue?
Yeah, so he mentioned a sign. Actually, we had a conversation a little bit before,
Mm,
where he actually explicitly mentioned like seeing the McDonald's symbol or the taco symbol,
gotcha.
that which gave it some context on how the symbol went to do it, right? So that was
Yeah.
something that I explored to like the trigger specifically.
But,
And it's funny, like because he would imagine the tacos and he looked at it like when I asked him what do I need to do in my mind,
mhm,
he locked his eyes like this,
mm,
and this is exactly where he pointed like that it was after, and like it's pretty real life, like he imagined like biting it and chewing it and tasting it and swallowing it, so
yeah.
it's a pretty powerful
Mhm.
representation. Yeah.
I noticed that as well. Like all the modalities were there. Like as he was describing it, I was starting to crave tacos. No wonder. It seems like a very effective strategy. I was starting to
Very good. Yeah.
feel it and uh, like I'm chewing it and then getting that flavor and the smell. I was really having the whole experience. So
Mhm.
it's pretty effective
Yeah.
It
if
was
you want to
very
crave.
congruent. The
Yeah,
only
I was like, good job, like good job,
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah.
I tried it on and now I need tacos.
Very effective.
Right.
the only
I think
surprise
this,
was really like when he said like, well, tacos sound good. Then I
Mm,
was I was expecting that there is an auditory that there is like that he would pick up the actual trigger that it's rather auditory and it's like an internal chatter like basically commanding have a taco or something.
mhm.
Me too. I also thought that because he said, tacos sound good. And usually when it's so specific, people have a trigger, but he didn't gesture anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah, and I was like, okay, is there a sound? And he was, oh, not really. I was like, okay,
Mm,
like he was probably talking to himself, like seeing the tacos, right? And all that, oh, taco sounds good, like looking at it and then talking to himself. Cool. So let's continue.
Just like, taking a bite and chewing and swallowing.
So, what I wanted to ask you is like, is there any pattern in terms of many people eat like in response to emotions? So, for example, people are stressed out and they eat, or they are bored and they eat, or they
Yeah,
are tired and they eat because they are tired.
yeah.
Like, do you notice any patterns in terms of, respond eating as a response to some kind of some emotion?
Not specifically. I guess I haven't really paid that close of attention to notice any patterns in that way.
Uh-huh. Okay. So can you take a moment to go inside and go through a few situations where you wait because you say willpower and that kind and discipline that kind of presupposes that there is a part of you that really wants to do that. So I wanted to be clear about that as well. Like what is the so
Just for context, at the beginning of the conversation, he mentioned that he didn't have enough willpower to resist doing eating this type of food. So that's why I'm bringing it.
part of you that really wants to do that. So I wanted to be clear about that as well. Like what is the so first I wanted to check if there is any pattern in terms of how you're feeling when you get to eat, or if it's just like uh, you like the food and tastes good. So take a moment to go through a
Yeah,
few of your memories of doing eating those food and notice if there is any emotion that precedes um, you craving eating it.
I mean, I guess sometimes I would eat when I was bored,
Mhm.
but I think a lot of it is I just like the food, how it tastes.
So let's be
Good. So this chunk was really checking uh, for emotional patterns because it's so common, right? I don't know what you like, what's your experience with that, but it's very common. Like people would be anxious, or they would be bored, or they will have some emotion they will eat to try to numb the emotion. So
Yeah, it's an avoidance strategy. People do it a lot to avoid facing the actual trigger, which is not the best strategy, but it works in the short term.
yeah.
Ismail, could you maybe just speak for a second? Because I think this has come up before, but there's some emotional, like kinesthetic feelings that often get confused with the hunger feeling. Um,
That's a good point. Uh, loneliness is usually felt in the same general area of the body.
Hmm.
And like there's sometimes a feeling of emptiness that comes with it that people confuse with hunger, right?
Hmm.
So part of learning how to change it is to learn how to distinguish the feeling of loneliness or from the feeling of hunger, right? So because they have different remedies, like for loneliness you call a friend, right? You don't eat a burger or something like that.
It's very interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm. I have a question with respect to those whose trigger, they identify it as kinesthetic. And I was working with someone yesterday, and he was doing some work, and he said he felt like a stressful feeling within himself. Like he said, "Oh, I feel a tightness in my chest," and it caused him to do something. In this case, it was eating, right? And we were working at trying to recover the image for that so we could base the swish. So how would you handle that if someone primarily identifies a kinesthetic feeling at first as their cue?
Good question. So the kinesthetic feeling is always in response to something.
Hmm.
So there, eating can be quite complex. So that's why I was asking so many questions. And like in the way I understand the switch pattern or any patterns, like you need to integrate whatever positive intention there is for doing the behavior that they wanted to change. So I was poking around to understand that if someone has a feeling of anxiety and eating is their only way of coping with anxiety and you remove that, they will explode in anxiety, right? So
Mm.
you need to develop new patterns, and so you need to integrate something like calmness or peace in the image to make sure that they replace the feeling of instead of eating, they can reference a different self-concept or a different self-image that is calmer and that is able to manage the feelings.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and I'll just paraphrase back to you what I heard. So, let's say that I'm experiencing anxiety, right? And I've got this feeling inside me, and I'm anxious, and I'm like, I know it's going to help. It's going to be a cookie. But before that, there would have been something that I was thinking about to actually bring on that cause of anxiety. I can see it in my mind right now. It's like, oh, I'm doing my bills or whatever. And then all of a sudden I have a kinesthetic reaction. So would I then be looking at the cue, the trigger, which would be me imaging that bill practice that caused that kinesthetic that was the automatic reaction to go for the cookie? Would you say that?
That's a great point. That's a great point. Uh, that's why working with qualities is so rich. Sorry, my voice is fading a little bit, but that's why working with qualities is so good. Like it's
Mhm. Mhm.
because you could pick a quality like being at peace and work with it and build it as a piece of your self-concept.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right? It's much richer and more thorough. Right. And we actually did it. Like we worked on qualities too. Like we did quite a few sessions.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, definitely. If there is an emotional pattern, working with the qualities that will are related with that pattern is going to be super important.
Gotcha. Makes complete sense. Yeah. Thanks, Ishmael.
Of course.
And just like to add on to that as well, like in the moment, like when you ask the client, or when you want to identify with the client where the emotion is coming from, a good question is always like, how does your system, how does your body know how to create this emotion?
Hmm.
And just to get insanely curious and say, well, something must tell your body to feel that emotion.
Right. This doesn't
But
happen. Yeah. Yeah.
correct, something must have happened. It might be an internal image. It might be a voice talking to you. Like what? I'm
Yeah.
curious, what is it?
Yeah. So that's the work, right? To be curious, to uncover that. Like what caused that feeling? Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's continue.
Let's pick one of those.
I think a lot of it is I just like the food, how it tastes.
So let's pick one of those, like either McDonald's or tacos, and let's
Sure.
put yourself in the last time you remember, or a time that you remember, like really craving it and giving in the craving. So can you put yourself in one of those?
Okay.
And now I would like you to notice the notice when you start to crave, like eating that food. The exact moment when
Okay.
that starts. Now let's welcome this part of you that is that was craving the eating that food. Let's welcome it.
Okay.
And let's ask this part of you, what's your positive intent with craving the food?
I guess the positive intent is just eating something that I like.
Okay. Now, ask that part, when you eat something that you like, what does that do for you? That's the part. Notice the force that comes from the part.
Um, I think it just gives you or gives me, a few moments of bliss.
Few moments of bliss. Okay. What do you mean by bliss?
Well, like my body would release some endorphins or whatever, just kind of make you feel good.
And what kind of feeling good is that?
Just like happy and content and.
So here again, I was like poking around and exploring to try to find the value that he was trying to fulfill through eating that food, right? And it was happiness. So he was seeking happiness there. So we need to make sure to integrate happiness in the new image, right? So it's congruent.
I think it's important to mention for people who are watching and listening to this that this is such a profound lesson, right? He started off saying eating something that his positive intention was eating something he likes. And then he ended up with happiness. And this happens so much. We look at the surface and we think, well, I lack willpower, like he said, or I'm lazy or whatever. And underneath is such a high level value like happiness. So it's really important to actually turn to those parts of us that we've shunned and as lazy or whatever, in order to get that deeper intention. I think that's so important and such a good illustration of how transformation happens, this deep work.
Definitely. So should we continue? Yep. Okay. Good. So now at this point, I think we have what we need in order to do the intervention, like the pattern.
So let's pick that in that image of the, are you working with in McDonald's or tacos? Which one are you doing?
I'm working in tacos right now.
Tacos, okay. So let's call that tacos image A, right? You told me it's right in front of you. It's real life size. It's in color. Is it particularly bright or is it dimmer?
I'd say somewhere in between.
Okay. So it's like middle brightness, or in between bright and dim. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I'd like you to do is, put that image aside for the time being, knowing that that's image A, and I'd like you to make. So the question is, how would you like to respond instead of eating that food?
Like maybe order a taco salad instead, or something healthier.
Okay, order something healthier. Okay.
Maybe still hits on those flavor notes, but doesn't have all the bad stuff in it.
Okay. Now, what I'd like you to do is, I would like you to make an image of the person that would naturally and instinctively do that. And so the person that can have this behavior naturally, instinctively. So this is an image of yourself. You are not doing anything specific. It's just yourself. It's like a snapshot of yourself. And when you look at this image of yourself, you see you with more capabilities and choices. The you for whom this is no longer an issue because, you're healthy, you are happy, so you have all the qualities and capabilities that give you more choice in this situation.
Okay.
So how is it, or what is it like to look at this image of yourself?
I mean, it feels good,
Okay.
I mean, it's a bit of an ambiguous image, but I'm at a healthier weight, and I look, happy and confident.
Okay. What is ambiguous about it?
I just mean like I can't see a whole lot of detail. Like I'm not in a specific place or anything like that. It's just more of a general shape of me. But I'm not. Like I said, I'm not doing anything like you said. But it's just an ambiguous version of the future me.
Okay, that's appropriate. That's good. That's exactly the kind of image that I wanted you to make. Now, I would like you to make it, see if you can tune it up even more, like maybe making it a little brighter or more vivid or, more detailed, not detailed, but more, sharper or bigger. See if you can tune it up somehow to make it even more attractive to you so that you feel pull towards being the person that you see in the picture.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. How attractive is this image to you?
Very.
Okay, good. So let's call that image B. Okay, is the image of yourself with more choices and capabilities, and happy and content and healthy. So what I'd like you to do is pick image A, okay, the image of the tacos, and place it in the way it usually comes up, right in front of you, real life size in color. And then I would like you to place image B, small, black and white, into the corner of this image A. So you have the image of the tacos that you make in your mind, like full color, real life size with that, middle range brightness, exactly as you usually do it. And at the corner, you have the image of yourself with capabilities and choices, and it's small and dark. Okay. And in a moment, what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to swish one image with the other. So as you make the image of the taco smaller, you make the image of yourself bigger, so that the image of yourself takes over, right? And then, and you want to do that at the same time. So as you are reducing the image of the tacos, you are making the image of yourself bigger and colorful, so it takes over. And you want to do that pretty fast, like, right? Like, pretty fast. So, and then I'm going to ask you to break the state and blink the screen. You can open your eyes and look around. And then we're going to do a few repetitions, making sure that between one repetition and the other one, you are blinking the screen, you are breaking the state. Okay. So let's do it. Like, place image A there, like in the way it usually comes up, and put image B at the corner, in black and white and dark, and then swish them. Then you can open your eyes. Okay. And look around. Yeah. Now let's do the same thing again. Like, let's put image A. We'll always start with image A, the image of the tacos, and image B at the corner, and swish it.
Okay.
And then look around. All right. Good. And then put the image of the tacos there as it used to happen, and put image of yourself at the corner and swish. and look around, break the state, blink the screen. Hmm. And do a few more repetitions of that, making sure that you always start with image A and then switch it to image B and break the state. Noticing how the more you do it, the faster it gets.
Okay.
So, think about something else, like, anything, like your coffee, or is it coffee that you're drinking?
Yeah. Yeah, just black coffee.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I like black coffee. It helps.
I like it with a little cream in it sometimes too, but just black this morning. So we stayed up. We stayed up way too late watching the election last night.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't see the results. I didn't see the results.
Donald Trump won. Donald Trump won.
Uh-huh. Okay. So now, put yourself in one of those situations where you used to crave tacos and notice what happens now.
I just drive right past the store.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Okay. And what happened in your mind, like when you thought about it?
I didn't really crave it. So.
Okay. Thanks. Does any part of you have any objections to having this new response?
No, not at all. No.
Okay, there you go. And now put yourself in the, as you're driving and you see a McDonald's and notice what happens.
Nothing. I just keep driving. So.
Okay.
No cravings. Just
Nice. Okay. Good. So
a Swish pattern. Powerful.
that's the Swish pattern. Yeah, the Swish pattern.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, well done. That was great.
Nice.
I love his full body congruence,
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like, oh, yeah. That's who I want to be. Mhm.
It's funny to see how at the beginning he had the movement with his mouth like this when he thought about it, and at the end he didn't have the same move when
Oh,
he said
interesting.
that he just drove through it.
Oh.
So this type of things is nice to observe at the beginning, at the end, how it changes.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make a GIF.
Yeah.
Just
I thought,
curious, if what would you have done if he had a little bit of resistance to that? Because you checked for that, you did an ecology. What if he had a little bit? Would you look for what then would be adding something additional to the image? How would you have handled that?
Yeah, exactly. So my usual approach is like to try to discover what the resistance is about, what
Mm,
is the value that it's trying to fulfill, and find a way to integrate that value into the new image, the new self image. Uh, uh, Also, like working with the qualities, as I mentioned, it can be very rich because then you can develop a full database of how to be that quality that triggers more
mhm,
naturally. Like actually, the Swish pattern is a piece of self concept, right? So that self-image that you're building is what inspired Steve to research and discover how to do self-concept in detail, right?
Mm.
Because that is a very fast version. It works pretty well, and there's so much richness to being able to do it like with detail and precision. So that's
Mhm. Yeah.
I'll more specifically for the Swish pattern, I would integrate it in the self-image,
Yeah.
and then on the bigger vision, I would work with the qualities that are that came up that are related with that.
I was thinking that too, because I related to self-concept methodology and seeing exactly how this works together, and then the richness of the self-concept model to continue that work with qualities and transformations. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I noticed obviously at one point he mentioned I see myself eating a taco salad. And then of course it kind of comes back to the whole he also mentioned his I think he said ambiguous the image, right? Which was exactly what you were guiding him to create. And just highlighting the I guess the importance or one of the key differences to the way that we or that Damon or the way it's taught in this community, right? With the swish. And it's that identity level swish. It's the avoiding the specific behavior, right? Not swishing from the craving behavior to the eating a salad behavior, obviously, because then what do you do when you don't have salad, right? So um, obviously that's just one of the key differences that people that may be familiar with Swish or have learned it elsewhere may observe, and that's all intentional, right? It's really cool.
Exactly. I'm happy you highlighted that. Like, what if you have only a table full of fruits, right, and no salad, and then tacos on the other side? You go like, right? So it's funny. It's funny. You really need to make that ambiguous image. And I was checking what he meant by ambiguous because he said it's ambiguous. It could be like there is doubt. So I asked the question, but he meant ambiguous as in it's not specific, right? It's open-ended. No context is more an outline of himself. So in that sense, it's ambiguous, and that's exactly what the type of image that we need to do a proper swish pattern. It's good that you highlighted that.
Yeah, I wanted to say about the being instead of doing, right? That it's really important to remember that this is all about who we are being. And to explain that actually what happens in the mind after a swish is that when you think about that compulsion, or in his case, the tacos, his mind immediately switches to who he wants to be. And that's very compelling, very powerful, and it allows him to act in a completely different way, to follow those values.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Ismail, thank you so much for sharing that. Um, I hope everyone who's watching this or listening to this has got some value from it today. I know that I did. Ismail, was there any other element of that you wanted to share before we wrap?
Oh, definitely. I that was uh, the 6th of November of 2024.
Okay.
So, and I just did a follow-up with him a few days ago. So it's an 11-month follow-up.
Hmm.
And I wanted to share what he told me. Um, I asked him about the the work we did, right? And he said it's a lot better. It's not impulsive any longer. Now it's an intentional decision when I eat there. Right?
Wonderful.
So that's what he shared with me, like 11 months later.
Mm,
Amazing. Well,
fantastic result. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Choice, right?
Yeah.
choice, exactly.
Choice.
Not building a compulsion of the opposite, right?
Right.
We want to build choice. We want a world that's more free.
Um, so for those of you that are watching or listening to this, I've got to say, everyone here is extraordinarily skilled at personal transformation and facilitating change work. So whether it's Ismail, Henning, whether it's Brant, Rasmus, Anna, Chad, or Pierre, I want to encourage you to feel free to reach out. Reach out. There should be something around this video. If there's a personal change project that you want to work on, whether it's like the one that you saw today or something different, know that there's options out there that can help you get there, and we're here for you. All right. So thanks so much, guys. This was really great. And if you'd like to see more like this, let us know.